So I was looking on the World of Warcraft subreddit this morning, and I saw where somebody had made a post asking who is going to be the big bad final boss of Dragonflight. And once you weeded through all of the stupid jokes about it being Bobby Kotick and the jailer and the trees in the Court of Stars dungeon, you actually got down to the real suggestions of it being Murazond and Keeper Tyr. And while those will be very interesting storylines when those inevitably take place, it doesn't make any sense based on the current narrative direction of Dragonflight for those to be the final bosses of the expansion. Rather, Iridikron is the obvious choice for two reasons. At the end of the Vault of the Incarnates raid, Razageth is successful in breaking her brethren out of the prison that the Titans placed them in so long ago, and the last thing that we see in the raid cinematic is Iridikron diving down to try and eat Khadgar and Kalecgos. Just before he snaps his jaws shut on them, they teleport away, but Iridikron's there, and he's a big problem. The mere mention of his name was enough to make Alexstrasza go, "Oh, yeah, it is, please, no." So, he's the most violent and destructive and rebellious of all four of the Primalist dragons, and he's obviously going to be the last one surviving. Razageth preceded him in death, as will the other two. But he has the motivation necessary to catalyze the next expansion. He's very mad at the Titans for having been imprisoned for so long. He wants to get revenge on them. The most obvious way to do that would be to kill a Titan, but he can't just teleport himself over to where they are. He doesn't have any bronze magic, so why not just kill the one that's directly below his feet? Because Azeroth is the name of the planet, but it's also the name of the Titan that is incubating within the planet. According to the Wowpedia page for Azeroth, the Sleeping Titan, she's the most powerful of all the Titans. She's the final one to hatch, and she will be so strong she's capable of soloing the Void Lords. So killing her would be a big prize for Iridikron. That would be the ultimate screw you to the rest of the Titans. But because this is World of Warcraft and we never lose any major conflicts, there's always got to be a happy ending to the story. He's going to fail. We're going to kill him, but not before Azeroth is hatched. And then the Void Lords will take note that the most powerful being that has ever existed in this plane of existence is going to try and kill us, so we need to get her while she's still an adolescent and incapable of fighting. This may sound ridiculous, and everything in Warcraft sounds ridiculous, let's be honest, but it was a leak that happened before Dragonflight was even announced that set this off in my little lore radar. There was a leak that said that there's going to be a event that hatches Azeroth, and she's going to be a baby Titan that we have to potty train and teach her to walk and, run her off to school and that sort of thing. And while leaks happen all the time, and that doesn't mean that they're true. I mean, a leak happened a while back that said Velen the Prophet was going to be a stripper in Goldshire, and unfortunately that didn't happen, but this leak told us that Dragonflight was going to be called Dragonflight, and that it was going to be about dragons. This is our first evidence that Dragonflight would exist, so there's already been a bit of truth in the leak. It stands to reason that based on the fact that the leak has already been correct twice now, and Iridikron wants to have revenge on Titans, that Azeroth will be a current character in the end of this expansion. And most likely she's going to be raised by whoever the big major leaders of the Azeroth's playable races are, and they'll try and teach her to fight. Eventually, the Sword of Silithus, which is still stabbed into the desert, is going to be her main hand weapon. That's why that hasn't been moved. That will be the weapon she wields. And that's going to bring about the next expansion, World of Warcraft Into the Void, or as I like to call it, World of Warcraft Azeroth for Battle.